Candy, Soul, and Soil did a video with the tag hashtag #top10curiositydecks. I've just been a little off these last few days and I don't know what it is. So when I saw this tag, I'm like, this is it. I'm going to go ahead and do this tag. This will kind of free me up a little bit. So let's go ahead and get to it. This tag is all about if you had a cabinet that had all your curious items, what would be included in it? So I have to say that I do have two cabinets right here in my living room. And if you come into my living room, you do see that I do have a rather eclectic type of practice going on. I mean, it's not a secret, but you would probably never know that the wine cabinet does not hold wine. It has all these other curious things, but I'm not going to get into that today. Then I have another cabinet and it holds all kinds of curious things as well. But today we're here to talk about the curious decks. So here we go. First is the Literary Witches. This deck is such a cool little deck. But one of the main reasons that I got this deck was for this lady right here, Maria Sabina. If you've heard of mushrooms, magic mushrooms, whatever, she is the person that you can thank for that, because doctors from the States went over to Miss Sabina and wanted to know more about the practice, how she uses them, the effects of people. And they were using them here in the States legally for a while, and then word kind of got out. But anyways, that's a whole thing. But I love these Literary Witches, and it is kind of a funky deck, you know, like a lot of these authors and, you know, they have a different way about them. They're pretty cool. But also in the deck, it has the Literary Witches, and then it has this whole section here, which are their materials. Now, Candy mentioned it in her video as well, and I don't know which tools are supposed to go with which. That's funny, which. But I find that this part of the deck is so useful in many other readings, that I can use this deck with so many of my other tarot decks, and it just goes along quite well. I really do enjoy this portion of the deck. And in the little book, it just has like 3 little keywords for each particular card. And the book itself is very, very short and brief with the meanings for the witches. But there is a larger book that I really should just go ahead and get, because this deck isn't going anywhere and I really love this deck. So that is the Literary Witches. So that is one of my Oracle decks. Now the next deck that I'm including here is the Sibyls Oraculum. And this deck was included by Meg over at Rose Honey Ritual as one of her decks for this tag as well. And she said something that I do with this deck. This deck comes in and out of my purgatory box. I'm not quite sure if it's staying or going. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, Annette, keep it. It's a cool deck. Like, what's wrong with you? But the deck comes in a system. And usually when I have an Oracle deck that's within a system, I just ignore it. And I just use it as a regular Oracle deck and just pick a card. But for some reason, with this particular deck, it gets in the way. I don't know what it is. I went ahead, when I bought the deck, I went ahead and just colored the pages for the portion of the cards, and then I matched it up on the cards on the edging. And it is a very pretty deck. You do have to kind of dig for whatever it is that they're trying to tell you here within the meaning of the card. But it kind of comes in and out. I don't know yet with this deck. I go back and forth with that one. I just don't know. Okay, the next deck that I have to share with you is the Yoginis Oracle. This is recent for me, and this is based on the 64 Yoginis. But as you can see, the deck is a little bit different. The art is a little bit different. These are big cards. And the quality of the card is really, really good. Not very shuffleable because of the thickness of the cards, but it's a pretty curious deck. So that would definitely be something that I would display within a big cabinet of curiosity. The meanings within the guidebook are pretty short. So if you want a deeper understanding of the 64 yoginis, this would just kind of touch upon the subject. But if you want to see a walkthrough of this deck, let me know if you're curious about it, and I will put one together if you'd like to see one. Okay, I don't know if you guys are counting, but I'm cheating. There's more than 10 decks here, but I just, like these two, I felt like they needed to go together. So this is the Mayan Oracle, and I've mentioned this deck before. This is just based on the Mayan astrology. So each of the cards has, like for the day sign, there's a card for each day sign that comes with like a more modern depiction of that particular day sign, of the art for that day sign. And then here's all of the numbers for the day number for each one of the 13 for the trecena. And then these are the galactic cards. You know, I have to say that I took a couple of courses in Mayan astrology, and I really didn't get it until I took a course with Tara over at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. That helped me really understand Mayan astrology. The way that she broke it down was just very easy for me to understand. That's what I needed. So, okay, next is the Toltec Oracle by Victor Sanchez. And this deck, I've never even used it. I saw it years ago come up, and I kept noticing, I kept trying to keep an eye on it, and I noticed that it had less and less availability. So even though I've never used it, I bought it when I did, and I'm glad that I bought it when I did. And one day I'll pull it out and I'll use it, but it is all based on Toltec symbology and art. And like I said, I've never used it, but it is one of these very curious decks. Beautiful, beautiful art. It comes with this little map type thing. And like I said, I've never used the deck, so I don't even know how to use this. I'm not even going to pretend that I do, because I really don't. But that is the Toltec Oracle. Okay, done. I think I'm done with my Oracle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this here because these two kind of go together. So this is the Earthbound Oracle and the Wooden Tarot. Now these two have to go together, of course, but this, of course, is a very curious deck. If you've ever seen this deck, it has these images. It has one word. There's no guidebook. That's all you get. But it is a very cool deck. Lots and lots to ponder within these images. And it goes with a lot, well, at least a lot of my decks. It goes along very well. Look at that one. That one really makes you think, right? The eyeball within the heart. Pretty, pretty cool. I mean, as you can see, like there's some images here that just are so good. They're really, really good. But a very curious deck when it comes to the art. All right, and then the Wooden Tarot, the accompanying tarot deck. Here we go. Very curious art and very beautiful art. I do like this deck, however, I don't use it all that often. I use it mostly in October. All right, let's keep moving on here. And this again is like Oracle and Tarot. So we have the Memento Mori Oracle. And this deck is just so beautiful. If I could display this along with some skulls and bones and just beautiful, beautiful things, I would love to do that. Okay, now, these came out from my little tarot deck here. And of course, the accompanying tarot deck. Gorgeous, gorgeous art. I just love this deck so much. The beautiful art. Again, one that I don't pull all the time, but it's not ever going to go anywhere because it's gorgeous. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, let's move on. The next deck that I have to share is the Mystical Dream Tarot. Now this deck I just recently handed off to my daughter, but I pulled it to include in this video because it is definitely one of those decks that you would have in your cabinet of curiosities. This was based on her dreams, and she kind of put the art into the cards. It has its own very unique system that I just, as much as I love the images, I just could not connect with the deck, but it is beautiful. It is gorgeous. If you can connect with it, then that's cool. I just couldn't do it, but my daughter has it, so if I need it, then I can always go and borrow it from her, just like I just did right now. And is this it? This is the last deck I get to share with you guys. Okay, this is it. This is the Carnival at the End of the World, and I really dig this deck. It is really cool. The creator of this deck just put out another one, which is like the Tarot of the Drowning World or something, and I'm still kind of on the fence with that one. I'm not quite sure if I like it or if I don't like it. I don't know. But this deck I really like. I really love the art, but it is very curious. It's a little different. So again, you either like it or you don't, but if I were to have like this cabinet and somebody were coming, you know, way after I am not, look at that one, oh boy. Like after I'm gone and they were to like see this cabinet, this would definitely be one that I would want to have displayed. And just to get people's mind to kind of wonder, like, what was up with Annette? What did she really like? I would love to have that. This hermit, I love that hermit. That's it, guys. Those are all of my very curious decks, and decks that if I could display them, to have them available for people to view and get an idea of me based on some of the curious things that I like, definitely these would be included. So thank you so much for watching. If you have curious decks that you can go ahead and respond to this VR, I would love to see them as well. So thank you so much. I wish you all a day of love and peace and joy and happiness. Send you off for a fantastic day. Thank you so much. I will see you later.